The USA go out. They're beaten comfortably by the Netherlands. In all truth, a naive and young America who gave their all, tried their best, but just came unstuck today against a formidable, the best we've seen from the Dutch at this World Cup so far. Dumfries having his best performance. Memphis starting to look fit and fresh as they progress on to the quarterfinals of this tournament. And America, they just couldn't get themselves going today. And that was all because, in my opinion, of the Dutch. The Dutch were classy. They allowed America to have the ball, but they dictated the pace. And that's one thing that the United States could never get their heads around in this match was how do we control the pace of the game? They couldn't do it. They wanted the pace quicker. They wanted the pace faster. And the Dutch and LVG's team and setup didn't allow that to happen. And it played into the hands of the Netherlands in a brilliant, brilliant way. I just don't think you can get away from that, you know? And yeah, I know a lot of people are saying in the comments, football won today. But what I think we saw was one, the young and naive age of this American team. And the second element that stood out to me was America weren't bad in this game. America had nearly 60% of the ball. America had created 13 chances, 2 more than the Netherlands. They had 5 more shots than the Netherlands. They had 8 shots on target to the 6 of the Netherlands, but they had no killers. And I really thought there was a great chance of the Netherlands winning this game. I thought they had a good chance and a good opportunity. But as I said in the build-up to the match, they would have to take their chances. They would have to be more clinical today. And in the opening moments of the game, they had this opportunity. 2 minutes into the game, and this man is going to have nightmares about this. He really will, and he should be feeling sick about it. Christian Pulisic misses this chance 2 minutes into the game. And it kind of set the tone. It kind of set the tone. Once he missed that opportunity, it was done and dusted. I know that sounds really mad. 2 minutes in, how can it be over? But I felt like it set the tone. That was the best chance they had in the game. I mean, I know they ended up scoring a goal. I mean, I'm not quite sure how it ended up actually going in, if I'm being honest. I don't think Wright meant it, if I'm being honest. But that was the problem with the Netherlands today. Far too often they went backwards. Pulisic, I thought, had a stinker. That opportunity. There was another chance, I think, when they were 1-0 down, and he breaks through on the left-hand side. He just has to put the ball across the 6-yard box. He's got 2, maybe 3 runners going in, and he plays the ball behind everybody. And we saw this in all the other games with America. They play good football at times, but could they finish it? I thought they would outplay the Netherlands at times. I thought they'd create chances, but it was whether they could kill them, and they couldn't. And then in between those moments, the Dutch controlled the tempo, which made America run out of steam because they made them just run and run and run back and forth, back and forth. And it was calculated from the Dutch. And look, I've been not scathing of the Dutch so far in this tournament. I haven't been overly impressed. But today, genuinely impressed with what I saw from them. I thought they were very, very good indeed. And Nabil here says, I'm proud of these boys. They are young and they play well throughout the tournament. Future is bright. Congrats to the Netherlands. And I agree with you. I agree with you on that. That if they can develop a striker, if they can develop some killers, some finishers in the next 4 years, being at home in the States for partly. I'm assuming America will play all their games in America. So for them, it's completely and utterly at home. I think they've got a great, great opportunity. I really do. Dave here says Pulisic wasn't terrible. His general play was fine. But when you're an attacker, all your general play is fine, but your final ball is off, or your shots don't go on target, or your shots don't go in. It's not a good performance, I'm afraid. Because ultimately, that is what you were judged on. You'd rather see Pulisic have a stinker, but finish the chances and put the ball in the right place. If he would have had a rubbish game, but scored that goal, and had a rubbish game and played that ball across the 6-yard box and America score, they might be in the quarterfinals right now. So at this level of the game, in these moments, it all becomes about deliverance, outputs. Performances are great, but you have to deliver. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. For me, Terry knows ball. That's why he said the USA to win. Listen, I just had a feeling, and the feeling didn't come off. However, everything that happened in the game is what I said would. They'd have more chances. They'd have more of the ball. They would have the opportunities to win the game. It's whether they could take them. And I just had a gut feeling that maybe they would. And lots of people get predictions wrong. Lots of people get predictions right. And this is one that I got wrong today. But I take it on the chin because I'm a man, and that's life. C here says, proud of the boys, just waiting to find that random top striker whose dad was a Marine for the World Cup 2006. Jokes aside, immaturity was our downfall. And I would agree with that. I think naivety, immaturity was there. And you're also playing a nation that not only has lots of experienced players, but the manager. LVG's been here, worn the t-shirt many, many times. He's retired more times than Tyson Fury. He's going to retire again if they go out of this tournament, or if they win this tournament. At the end of the tournament, he's going to retire. And they just didn't quite have the nous today to stay in the game, you know. But by the time the next World Cup comes around, this America team is going to be dangerous. They really, really are. Viewers, I'm going to bring in KJ now to have a chat with me. Make sure you're scanning the QR code on the screen or downloading the Hitch app. It's honestly one of the most amazing social polling apps in the world. And every time you participate in polls, and it's just easy, it's on the timeline, create your own, do their quizzes as well. Their quizzes are great. I tried the hard ones today. They're actually really difficult. You get paid money. You get paid money for using that app. Imagine Twitter giving you cash every time you tweet. Like, this place is great. So get it downloaded completely free of charge. Don't need any of your card or account details. Nothing like that. It's not a gambling site. Get it downloaded now. KJ's here with me. What you saying, bro?
That was total football. The Dutch brought it back. LVG said, forget this. I'm taking it back. Flashback. Let's go back to the times where Dutch football was the strongest. What a win. Beautiful performance. Absolutely controlled. Defensively solid. Perfect. And offensively, that's what you want to see from your attackers. Creating chances, scoring goals. And everyone looked super good today in that Dutch team. And as you said, like, they haven't looked the best, but clearly they're saying the best to last, because that was the best performance that I've seen from the Netherlands all tournament. And if that's what they're bringing to the knockout stages, that is a team that is going to be hard to beat. Like, if they decide to play like that all tournament against no matter who it is definitely going to be hard to beat. And Lou Van Gaal said it. He may not be the most beautiful football, but it's winning football. And if it's working for them, it's working for them. So yeah, big up Louis Van Gaal. Big up Daley Blind. Oh, I love Daley Blind. I'm so gutted when that he left Man United. He never really got a chance to really cement himself. What a quality player. Happy to get his assist and the goal. Also, Terry, I've seen enough. Bring me GAKPO. Bring me GAKPO. All of the people's worries about his technical ability, you know what? I don't care. Ten Hag will refine this brother. He's got the physicality. He's got the mental awareness. He's got the football. I believe he's got the football IQ to come into Manchester United and actually fulfill a role, whether he be striker or on the wings. He can do a job for us. He can develop into a very solid player. I like what I saw from him today. He didn't score a goal, but he was driving at players, making things happen. He was pressing, and not just pressing flimsily like we see some players do. He was getting stuck in, getting feet in, and he was one of the best players on the pitch today, like hands down. He's been, I believe, the Netherlands' best player this tournament. So bring me GAKPO today. You know what I mean? Bring me GAKPO today, and I'll be a happy man.
You know what I saw? It was nice watching GAKPO today, because he didn't score, but it was kind of nice to see, watching him do other things in the game, the way he brought teammates in. Of course, I believe he got an assist today. Did he get an assist?
No,
No,
I don't think he did.
He got a clearance off the line. Sorry, I saw I didn't think he did. Then I saw a letter next to his name here on the stats thing, and I was like, did he get an assist? No, but he started the game kind of up front in a split partnership with Memphis, and he did a lot of the dog work today, holding the ball up, bringing others in, and it was another side to his game. And there is an impressive part of GAKPO, there's no doubt. I think your point on some of on the team coming alive, they really did today. And we've actually watched all 4 of their games. We actually watched 2 of their games in the studio together, and we were like, oh, they're good, but there was a lot left to be desired, as it were. But today, very, very good indeed. I was also really impressed with Dumfries. I thought Dumfries down that right-hand side, sometimes he's given me like Aaron Wan-Bissaka vibes, almost a little bit unorthodox, a little
Yeah,
bit
he looks clunky. He's a
yeah,
clunky player. Yeah,
a bit clumsy. You know, the technique not quite being there. But today I was really impressed with him. I thought he
solid.
was decisive. His passing was good, defensively strong when he needed to be, and you don't always have to be a defender when you're playing fullback with the back three. You know, Timber kind of did very, very well there. But he was excellent today on that right hand side, equally like Blin on the other. And I'm like you, I was very happy for Daily Blin, especially after what happened to him. You know, with his heart condition and his problems like that. You think, oh, you know, is he going to play on? And finds himself in a quarterfinal. He's obviously in the twilight end of his career. Quarterfinals now of the World Cup. We mentioned Gakpo and Memphis. I thought Memphis looked strong today. His goal scoring record for the Netherlands is off the
Boy,
chart.
he's so close. He's so close to that goal scoring record. And if he does it, it'll basically be in a 1-2 ratio as well. That is so impressive. So yeah, big up to Memphis. People want him back. I've always said if there's one player that I wish never left United to see what they would have done, it for me is always going to be Memphis Depay. So I'll welcome him back. Probably not. Or if you told me Gakpo or Memphis, which one do I take Gakpo. But Memphis, like obviously he's got that quality, and we know that he's got it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I tell you what did stand out for me today with the Netherlands as well is yes, they controlled the game. And it's interesting because I've looked at like who scored and SofaScore and others. Like De Jong's got a really low rating today, but I thought De Jong was great. I thought he looked so good. He sat deep. He manipulated the ball well. And that's one thing. I think that McKennie, Adams, and Musa for America can be very proud of their World Cup. But De Jong was a level above that today, and he looked great. But also defensively, they've looked shaky in quite a few of their games. You know, Van Dijk and Ake being caught out of position. They haven't always looked at their best. But again, today, even though America were attacking, even though America got in a few times, they were just there. Like the amount of clearances, and I don't know how many clearances he made. I haven't even looked at the statistics, but it just felt like Van Dijk, every time the ball got crossed in, there was his head. Ake made 6, Van Dijk made 4. I actually thought Van Dijk made more than that. Sometimes the stats don't always stack up because I've seen players win tackles at this tournament, and then it said they haven't even attempted them. But they were just solid at the back today. And if the Netherlands keep getting better from this point, they have every chance and opportunity to go. I mean, they're already deep in it now. They're literally
three wins away.
3 wins, and they're world champions. That's all they need to do, unbeaten. And look, I know they conceded today, but it was the most flukiest goal anyone's ever going to score.
Let's be honest now.
Do you think he meant it?
No, Wright is not a good football player. Wright is not. I've seen him all tournament. I'm there. It's like, how is he made the USA national team? I do not know. He did not mean that 100%. Man was falling over, and it just scooped up so perfectly that he went in. If I was a manager and that went in against my team, I'm just like, boys, don't even worry about that, because he tried it. If he asked him to do that again, he'd never doing it ever again. You know what I mean? So he gets his World Cup goal. He gets in the quarter in a round of 16. Good for him. But if my man come off the pitch like, yeah, man, like, obviously I do that in practice, man. You know what I mean? I wanted to do it. If he tries to act like he meant that, I'm sorry, you should stop playing football. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't mean that whatsoever. But on the USA, they are one of the teams that can leave this competition with their heads held high. What we saw today is a team that's developing, the team that's getting better. But when it comes against the elite, including the manager, they just don't have an answer for it. The Netherlands said today, you know what? You man have the ball and show us what you've got. Show us if you deserve to be on this stage. And unfortunately, they didn't do it. I think the manager made some wrong decisions. Obviously, starting that Ferreira guy up front, terrible decision. Not taking a Pulisic, in my opinion, not a good decision. Not starting Aronson. Like, they've got a lot to do, you know what I mean, in the next 4 years for the new one to get to like a quarterfinal. But they can look at that team and be like, yeah, you got a young midfield that's looking very good and very potent. I think Robertson has been excellent this tournament, and they've got young players in the attacking line that if you get the chemistry right and the balance right, you've got a dangerous forward line there. I think Timothy Weah has been excellent for them as well this tournament. Shame we didn't get any more minutes up front, but yeah, Terry, the USA, they can play football now. You know what I mean? They can play football.
And they are building something good, and they need to develop more. And I think over the next 4 years, they need to get more and more players. I know, like in America, there is the system of you're good at high school. Being good at high school at a sport gets you a scholarship to university, stroke college, they call it. And then at the college, in other sports, college is where you're trained essentially to be ready for the NBA, the NFL, the NHL. America's got to learn that's not going to work if you're going to develop a top class men's team. Those players at 12, 13, 14, they need to be getting scouted by European teams, and whether they move with them or not, they need to be sending their kids to the top European clubs to be trained from at least that age, if not younger, and they need to grow up in the European system. They've got to grow up in the European system, and you already see the ones that are played predominantly in Europe compared to their sort of MLS compatriots. You see a difference in class, and they probably need some better defenders. Definitely need some killers up front. But it's probably the best America I've seen at a World Cup. If I'm being absolutely honest with you, probably the best footballing America I've seen at the World Cup. We've got a super chat here that says, as I said from the start, we're winning the World Cup. That's from qatar. And obviously Dutchman himself. And listen, you've got a chance and an opportunity. Bad Braff here says, damn, it's a shame we got to play the Netherlands in the quarterfinals now. What flag is that?
Oh, Australia. Man said they beat Argentina. Come on now.
I like
Come
that.
on.
I like that. I do like that's a great bit of banter. Now my team is out. Let's go Senegal. I kind of get that. I kind of get it. Louis van Gaal is going to win the World Cup. Bring on Argentina. Listen, Argentina are very likely to go through on the Hitch app. I predicted them going through. But football's funny. I wouldn't count on my chickens just yet, personally.
Especially this World Cup. This World Cup has been insane. So,
Yeah.
There's going to be one big shock in this round of 16. I'm praying it's not England. I'm just praying and hoping it's not England because what is happening.
Yes, it's going to happen to someone. There is no shadow of a doubt. It always happens. Glad NA is gone from the tourney. Hope Schwitz, USA will never succeed whilst I have MLS with no relegation. Who's NA?
NA is gone from the tournament. I couldn't tell you. North America?
North America, maybe. Is that what it means? Yeah, listen, the MLS just needs to. It's not even about the MLS. The MLS isn't the problem. It's where they're trained. And you need to, like, if you want to be, how many, I want to ask you, I bet it's a small percentage. How many NBA players have moved from Britain and our basketball system here, which is crap, or our American football system, which is crap, at the age of 18, 19, 20, have moved to America and been highly successful in the NBA or the NFL at that age where you've already done all your development? I bet you it's a handful over the last 20, 30 years have done it. So America can't expect to be able to compete with the South American and the European elites if their players are not learning to play football with the elites. It just isn't going to happen. You need to do it younger. KJ, don't worry. England are winning the World Cup is what Nabil. It's probably the most positive thing Nabil's ever said to you, KJ.
Probably, isn't it?
Probably is. I did have an interesting. This has triggered a lot of people today. Terry, please tell me the Bruno and Ozil comparison was a joke. There is no comparison, though. And I do get really annoyed at people that see a question on a poll and go, why are you comparing them? I'm not, but lots of people are. I saw 3 or 4 polls on Hitch talking about it. I've seen in the last 3 or 4 days people on Twitter talking about it. So I thought I'd set up a poll and settle it. And Ozil's winning by like 67%. By the way, Ozil I voted for. So it's weird. Like, people think I ask a question. And Abdul, I'm disappointed that you had to ask that because you watch every show the Football Terrorist does. Terry Flewers asking a question isn't a statement. It's, okay, I've seen this. This is what's being said. Tell me what you think. It's kind of like, it's weird. It's weird that people think it's a statement or a comparison that I made. It's a question, my bro. But yes, check out the app. Go vote now. Ozil is winning. Let's take some calls here. I'm going to speak to Brian first of all, calling all the way from America. How you doing, my bro?
Good, man. Can you hear me all right?
Can hear you. Commiserations on going out. Give me your thoughts on the game, my friend.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think that just on the game that the U.S. were a bit naive, kind of going throughout the game, like to concede a second that close to halftime really kills any momentum that they were building up going into halftime. I thought they got better as the game went on, but They had moments where they just weren't aware enough, and I think that comes with the age of the team. But they also weren't clinical enough, and the Dutch today were absolutely killer in front of goal. So I appreciate that, Jamie. No, but I mean, otherwise, I feel like, and I saw your tweet earlier. Like, for the first time in a long time, I feel like this crop of players, they're just really good at football, and I credit them for the ways in which that they have gone about it, what their families have done to put them in the places where they can learn the game in an environment where it's cherished and put above everything else, so that they can come out and be excellent at the game. And I think, despite the fact that the U.S. went out in the round of 16 and ultimately weren't good enough on the day to beat the Dutch, I think that the USA surprised a lot of people in the World Cup, because I've seen a lot of tweets from people that are kind of gatekeeping the game a little bit. They think that because the U.S. haven't been particularly good in previous World Cups, that means that they can't be good ever. And I think that this has kind of been a bit of a shot in the arm to their knowledge of the game and their knowledge of U.S. players. And I hope that I want to get to a point where U.S. are no longer fighting to prove to the world that we can do something, but instead just have the world look at the team and be like, we don't fear anybody, and we can go out and play with quality and with pace and with ability. And if we just get some killers up front and we shore up at the back a little bit, I think that 2026, the U.S. can do even better. So I'm proud of what the country has accomplished today. Very proud.
And you should be proud, because as much as the thing is what America go through, one, you call it soccer, which annoys a lot of people. Secondly, because you are the most powerful nation in the world, one of the richest nations in the world, there is an expectation of, and in most other international sporting events, the Olympics is an example, you're always there or thereabouts. You're always one of the biggest medal. People kind of they kind of treat you like that's the same for you guys with football. And the fact is, it's probably not even in your top 5 sports in your country. We know that hockey, basketball, American football are definitely above it. But I think people take boxing and wrestling and so many other sports more seriously in your country. For it to be like if you think about England, do England have a chance of getting to this stage of a World Cup in a sport that's like on 7th or 8th on our most popular list? Probably not, like in team sport. I think it's a very, very good achievement that America have done. As KJ said, you can walk away from this with your heads held high, proud of what you're developing, and then kind of come back and go again strong.
Yeah, and I would also add to that, Terry. One of the really interesting things about the sport in America is that, and this isn't to get too geopolitical, so forgive me or anything, but the population of the United States is shifting, and when population shift, culture shifts, and people and the population of minorities are on the rise, and those people value football primarily over any other American sport, and I think that is showing in the exposure and access to the game, in addition to kind of the growth of the game, and that was expressed in Qatar through this team. And like, these players grew up watching the Premier League and watching the likes of Wayne Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo, and looking at those players and saying, I want to go and play at that level. And so, that's why you get Pulisic going over to Germany at 16. You get Gio Reyna going over to Europe at a young age, and you get all these, Musa going over to England at a young age. And I think that the more U.S. players and the more people that value the game, that say, hey, I want to play at that level, what do I need to do to get there? And they take those necessary steps, I think that the game will continue to grow in the United States. So while it's not one of the top sports, I do think it's one of the fastest emerging in the country, and I'm excited to see the growth as it continues forward. So
I hear you completely. Brian, thanks for calling in, mate. Commiserations on going out, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon. Take care, my friend.
You too. See
Thank you. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Paul's with us now. Paul Devo's here. Another Yank. Gutted to obviously go out. How you doing, mate?
My ancestry's happy. My current nationality is not. So, being Dutch by blood and United States by nationality, it's kind of a bittersweet day. But on the day, we were not good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, I'm good. I tell you what it is. I've got this condition where like I've got an inflamed chest cavities.
Okay.
And when it starts burning, I go on mute, and this massage thing gets rid of the pain. That's all it is. Crack on, mate. Crack on.
Okay. Yeah, man. No, I mean, like, we weren't the team on the day, and that was a masterclass. Their first goal by the Netherlands was a masterclass. 4 passes ripped apart our entire defense, and we had chances. We had, I know XG is a dumb thing to follow, but like our XG was probably 3 or 4. Pulisic buries that first goal. It's a different game, but if my aunt was my uncle, I wouldn't be here. So, it's kind of a situation where like I'm ready for a roto-rootering at USSF. The fact that our coach's last name is Berhalter and the vice president of our federation's last name is Berhalter means that there needs to be some changes made. So it's time. And
is that coincidence or is that actual?
Oh, it's just fact. And the fact that he stayed on after everything that he's done wrong and not qualifying for the World Cup, in 18. There's a lot of nepotism in USSF.
Wait, he was the coach that didn't get you there in the first place.
Yeah. And he's also the one that made the big MLS push. That's why we call him Grego from the MLS. So it's a situation where like we didn't play our best players. Like Ricardo Ferreira starting over Gio Reyna makes absolutely no sense. You bring 3 strikers out of a squad of 26 to the World Cup, and Haji Wright does his 20-minute jog around the pitch appearance. Sargent, as we've seen in Europe, yes, I mean, he scores goals for Wolfsburg, but he hasn't ever really been able to do it on the international stage. So the United States has a player that we need to cap tie immediately. That's banging in goals for Middlesbrough and also has been banging in goals for Arsenal's under 21s. Fuller and Balogun, come on down. This is your team now.
Well, I think what America should also think about doing, a lot of people would love to live in America. So what I think you need to do is start going around the world, finding really good talent and going, listen, there's a free citizenship for life and you can live here tax-free, but come play for America.
Come squad up. Yeah. There's always that.
There are people all across the world that be like, me and my family get to come and live in America, tax-free on everything I earn, just play for your football team. Trust me, bare people have switched nationalities like this, bro.
And we would take them. I mean, honestly, like you said, like some of our best players have the dual citizenship. I mean, it goes all the way back to Gucci Anyewu and
Devin,
and John
quick
Brooks.
question before I got Dips. I had to ask this question. Your nation has some of the most insane athletes in the world. You know what I mean? Take some of those basketball players and some of those NFL players and NHL players, whack them into football, and I'm pretty sure
I will answer your question.
Insane.
I will answer your question right now. There are so many gatekeepers in U.S. soccer. As a coach myself, the cost to play organized soccer, to play organized football is so exorbitant. You guys have pitches in the middle of the yard. We have basketball.
Like I can go across my road and there's a football.
And honestly, we've just started that. Like here in Atlanta, we have certain places where like right near the train stations, you can go and you can play 5-a-side. That just happened. Like there is such gatekeeping. To play national team soccer, you have to be wealthy. It's a situation.
That's actually insane.
Yeah,
when you think about it, it's a poor man's sport. Literally,
it's work in America. It's not a working class sport.
It's not. It's very expensive. I played US ODP at a region level, like one step below the national pool. And in order to go to the national pool, we're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for a 2-week camp.
It's like in England, if you want to be a tennis player, very few poor people will ever become top flight tennis players, irrespective of talent, because most kids can't afford to have the lessons or go to the clubs or even get accepted into the country clubs and the tennis clubs where you would be able to show it. There are certain sports where there's a lot of gateway. Where if in America, if they were searching more in the inner cities, if they were searching more in the kind of, in the projects and in the working class areas, wherever they may be, they would find a hell of a lot of talent, because that's where the majority, in my opinion, of footballers, boxers, and everything else kind of come from. There's no doubt.
There's a bunch of comments here that it's saying like, bro, football is the cheapest sport around. 100% agree with you. But to advance at a national level, to play for the USMNT, to get into the ODP camps, the Olympic developmental pools, you have to have money. They have scholarships, but those are so few and far between. And when you have a kid that can literally go get a Wilson basketball and step outside his door and have 5-a-side basketball right in front of him, they're going to drag him every time away from the soccer pitch. It just happens. I'm a coach. I'm a licensed coach. I see kids make the choice to play basketball over soccer every day because of the cost. It is exorbitant.
No, listen, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree with you more, mate. Listen, Devo, thanks for coming on, mate. Commiserations to going out. And we'll chat to you again soon. Top man. Thank
See ya.
you, bro.
I enjoyed that the education there. You know what I mean? It's nice to hear.
So did I. We've got another caller here. Dan's with us. What you saying, Dan? You there, Dan? Dan? Hello?
Hello?
Dan, you gonna speak?
Hello?
I don't think Dan can hear us, but he was on. Try calling back. We could hear you. When he put the camera down, I thought, oh no.
I don't get worried. What are you gonna get?
I had to get a really, really bad moment. I did. I really, really did. But no, it was good information learning what Devo said there, because I mean, football's expensive in England to a degree. But you can't, it's just so much more accessible. We get to play it in school, which is free, generally speaking.
Yeah.
And there are scouts everywhere, and there are clubs looking to bring you in. And again, if you ain't got money in the States, it's very hard. This is from Josh. Says, credit my boys. We got out of the group that was our objective. Hope we improve by 2026. On the Dutch, I hear people complain about their approach. Their job's not to entertain, but to win the tournament. Listen, I think if the Dutch opened up and played expansively, they get beat. And then we'd all go, you're rubbish. So why play in a way the way you're going to fail? That makes no sense. The way the Dutch are playing makes sense. It is sensible. It is smart. It's calculated. And they're in the quarterfinals. And they have a very good chance. I mean, let's see what Argentina look like today. It's not the hardest test in the world playing Australia. But they've looked hit and miss this tournament. If they can nullify the RG's attack, they've got a great chance of beating them. They've got a great chance of beating them, especially as their manager that doesn't seem to want to play Lissandro too often, which is crazy to me. It's crazy. They want, the game they look the best in was the game that he started in. But there we go. Viewers, please make sure you're smashing like and share buttons for us, and you're scanning that QR code or downloading the Hitch app now. That QR code there. I think I've over 208 new followers today on the app, which is great. I'm going to post another poll on there a little bit later tonight. Maybe one that's not going to trigger so many people, but I'm definitely
more triggering. Trigger them all.
But yeah, get yourselves on there. Get using it. It's obviously a growing app. It's a fairly new app, and it's on the way up. I really do like it, and we've got some big things coming with them later on this month. So keep your eyes open. We think that you're going to love it. Listen, everyone that has tuned in, a big thank you to each and every single one of you. It means a great deal to us. We're live after Argentina versus Australia later tonight. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. KJ, always a pleasure. And we'll speak to you all again very, very soon. Thank you.